Lesson 24, Other GST Returns. In this chapter, we will discuss about various GST returns like GSTR-2, GSTR-ITC-04, GSTR-6, GSTR-9 and other refund statements. Apart from these other returns we have already covered in our previous chapters. So first of all, we'll discuss about GSTR-2 return. GSTR-2 includes details of all inward supplies made in the given period. The report displays section-wise detail of all the inward supplies. GSTR2 return is divided into multiple sections where each section is used for a different type of inward supply. On selecting the GSTR2 option, a GSTR2 window is appearing in which first of all you need to specify the starting date and the ending date, that is the date range for which the report is to be generated. Then you need to specify whether you want to consider the voucher date or purchase bill date. For purchase bill date, you need to specify P in this data field, and for voucher date, you need to specify V in this data field. Then accounts to be shown by name, alias, or print name. Skip HSN summary, specify yes in this data field if you do not want to print HSN summary. Then is include expenses not liable to RCM daily limit. Specify yes in this data field to include RCM expenses which are below daily limit, that is 5,000. Otherwise specify no. On specifying yes in this data field, expenses will be shown under nil rated invoices 7A 7B section. Next is include expenses not liable to RCM not applicable. Specify why in this data field to include expenses in which RCM nature is set to not applicable. Otherwise you can specify no. On specifying yes in this data field, expenses will be shown under nil rated invoice 7A 7B section. Next is show exempt NR ZR entries in taxable invoice separately. Basically, on specifying yes in this data field, exempt, nil rated or zero rated entries in a voucher will appear in a separate section, nil rated invoices 7A 7B. Otherwise, they will be displayed in B2B invoices 3-4A section. This is mainly required in case of multi-tax vouchers where different tax rate entries are there, like a single voucher has exempted nil rated entries along with the taxable entries. Thus, with this option, you can view taxable entries of a voucher under B2B invoices 3-4A section and exempt nil rated 0 rated entries of a voucher under nil rated invoices 7A 7B section. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a GSTR2 window is appearing which is showing section wise details. On double clicking any of the section or pressing enter key on the section, you can view complete details like bifurcated details. So here first section is B2B invoices 3-4A. This section reflects the invoice level data of taxable inward supplies made from registered dealers or UIN holders. On pressing enter key on this section, a B2B invoices 3-4A window will appear which will display details of B2B inward supplies. Next is B2B UR invoices 4B. UR is unregistered. This section reflects the invoice level detail of inward supplies made from unregistered dealer on which reverse charge is to be paid. On pressing enter key on this section, a B2B UR invoices 4B window will appear which will display details of B2B inward supplies made from unregistered dealer. Next is credit debit note 6C. This section reflects the invoice level details of credit debit note received and purchase returned to registered supplier. Then is credit debit note unregistered 6C. This section reflects the invoice level detail of credit debit note received and purchase returned to unregistered supplier. Next section is of import of goods, capital goods 5A 5B. This section reflects the invoice level data of inward supplies of goods, capital goods received from overseas import or from SEZ on a bill of entry. Import of services 4C. This section reflects inward supplies of import of services on which tax is to be paid under reverse charge mechanism. Nil rated invoices 7A 7B. This section reflects inward supplies received from composition dealers and other nil rated exempted and non GST supplies. ITC reversal. This section reflects the details of transaction entered for reversal of input tax credit. HSN summary of inward supplies 13. This section provides HSN code, UQC and description wise consolidated summary of inward supplies. So these all details are shown in this particular report. You can see GSTR2 e-return is also provided. This report is for reference purpose only, as of now government has deferred this report. Next report is GSTR-ITC-04. GSTR-ITC-04 under GST is a form which has to be furnished by registered manufacturers showing the details of inputs or capital goods dispatched or received from a job worker in a particular quarter. This report displays details of job work entries made during a particular quarter. To maintain GSTR-ITC-04 report in Busy, it is mandatory to enable Job ID. Job ID can be enabled while configuring job work feature under Features Options Configuration menu. Job work means basically processing or working on raw materials or semi-finished goods supplied by the principal manufacturer to the job work. This is to complete a part or whole of the process which result in the manufacture or finishing of an article or any other essential operation. As per GST Act, job work means any treatment or process undertaken by a person on goods belonging to another registered person. The person doing the job work is called the job worker. On selecting the GSTR ITC 04 option, two options are displayed. First is manufacturer to job worker. This report displays details of material issued vouchers. And next is job worker to manufacturer. This report displays details of material received vouchers and purchase vouchers entered against material issued voucher. On selecting the manufacturer to job work option, a GST ITC 04 window is appearing in which you need to specify the starting date and the ending date. Next, click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a GST ITC 04 manufacturer to job worker window will appear, which is showing complete details like invoice number, invoice date, nature of transaction, item name, description, UKC, and so on. Next, we'll click on job worker to manufacturer option. On selecting this option, again you need to specify the starting date, ending date, then show item consumed details in table 5A. Specify yes in this data field if you want to view item consumed details, that is items which are issued for job work process. Otherwise, on specifying no in this data field, details of only the items received from job work, that is finished item details, will be shown. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a GST ITC 04 job worker to manufacturer window is appearing, which is showing original challan number issued by party, original challan number, date, nature of transaction, item description, UQC, and other such details. Next, we'll discuss GSTR ITC 04 e-return. That is, if you want to file e-return, then you can use this option. On selecting this option, first Wiz is asking that report is to be generated in JSON format as per government template or plain Excel. We are selecting the JSON option, then specify the starting month and the ending month, any special characters to be removed, and the path for the e-return file, that is the path where the JSON file will be created. So we are taking path of the desktop. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, this is asking that you want to proceed with JSON creation or you want to check the errors in transaction. It is always recommended to first check possibility of errors so that while creating JSON file, no problem should occur. So we are clicking the check errors in transactions button. On clicking the button, it's asking manufacturer to job worker or job worker to manufacturer. You can select the required option for which you want to generate the report or you want to check the errors basically. So here you can see on the screen a blank report is appearing, which means all the entries are perfectly fine. There is no error in the data. Next, we are checking for the job worker to manufacturer option also. This report is also blank, which means there is no error in this data. If there is an error in the data, then it would have been shown in this report along with the reason, and the reason would be shown in the invalid data column. So we have checked both the options, no error is coming in the report. Now we will click the proceed with JSON button. On clicking the proceed with JSON button, this is showing that file has been created. You can see we have specified the path of the desktop, and on the desktop a JSON file has been created. Next, we will discuss GSTR-6. GSTR-6 is a monthly return that has to be filed by an input service distributor. This report displays details of ITC received by an ISD, that is input service distributor, and also contains all the documents issued for distribution of ITC. On selecting the GSTR-6 option, it's asking ITC received for distribution or debit note, credit note received. So you can select the required option as per your requirement. Basically, ITC received for distribution report displays details of ITC received, that is B2B purchase transaction, and debit note credit note received report displays details of debit note credit note received or purchase return transactions. First, we are selecting the ITC received for distribution option. On selecting the option, you need to specify the starting date, ending date, and do you want to consider voucher date or purchase bill date. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, you can see the ITC received for distribution B2B report is appearing on screen. Next, we are clicking the debit note, credit note received option. On clicking this option, we need to specify the starting date, ending date. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a debit note, credit note received window is appearing, which is showing complete details like GSTI, party name, note type, that is whether it is a credit note or a debit note, and other relevant details. Similarly, GSTR-6 e-return option is provided. You can generate GSTR-6 JSON from here and can file GSTR-6 return in the similar manner as we have discussed for the GSTR-ITC-04. Next is GSTR-9 annual return. GSTR-9 annual return is an annual return to be filed yearly by taxpayers registered under GST. It consists of details regarding the outward and inward supplies made received during the relevant previous year under different heads, that is CGST, SGST, IGST, and HSN codes. Currently, filing of GSTR-9 has been made optional for those with turnover of less than rupees 2 crores. Form GSTR-9 once filed cannot be revised, so it is recommended to carefully check the values auto-populated in the annual returns, match them with books of accounts, and accordingly make suitable corrections before filing this return. On selecting this option, you need to specify the starting date, ending date. You want to consider voucher date or purchase bill date, and exempt, nil rated, zero rated entries and taxable invoices are to be shown separately or not. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, you can see GSTR-9 annual report is appearing on screen, which is showing section wise details like taxable value, CGST, SGST, IGST, cess amount if any, and so on. Next is refund statement. Using refund statement report, you can view sale purchase entries based on which you can view the refund that you can claim. Under refund statement, various options are appearing like refund S01A, refund S04, refund S05, and refund 05B. So first of all, we'll discuss refund S01A option. Refund S01 is the application form for filing refund in case of an inverted duty structure. Inverted duty structure means a situation where the rate of tax on inputs is higher than the rate of tax on output supplies. Along with application form, invoice-wise details of inward and outward supplies have to be furnished. Using Refund S01A option, you can basically view the inward outward supplies on which you can claim the refund. If you want, you can also include debit note, credit note entries in the report. On selecting the Refund S01A option, this is asking that report is to be shown for inward supplies or outward supplies. So you can select the required option as per your requirement. We are clicking the inward option. Next, specifying the starting date, ending date, voucher date is to be considered or purchase bill date. Debit note, credit notes are to be included or not. So after specifying data in these data fields, click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a GST refund statement 1A purchase is appearing on screen, which is showing complete details. Next is refund S04. Using this report, you can view the entries for which you can claim refund on account of supplies made to SEZ unit, SEZ developer on payment of tax. On selecting this option, this is again asking the starting date and the ending date. After specifying the starting date and ending date, click OK button. On clicking the OK button, and on account of supplies made to SEZ unit, SEZ developer on payment of tax report is appearing. You can see here in the invalid data found column, it's showing GSTN is invalid. This means the GSTN of the recipient is not correct, so you can make the necessary corrections also. Next is Refund S05. Using this option, you can view the entries for which you can claim refund on account of supplies made to SEZ unit, SEZ developer without payment of tax. On selecting this option, again you need to specify the starting date and the ending date. Then click the OK button. On clicking the OK button, and on account of supplies made to SEZ unit, SEZ developer without payment of tax report is appearing. Next is Refund 05B. Using this option, you can view the entries for which you can claim refund on account of deemed export. On selecting this option, again specify the starting date and ending date. voucher date is to be considered or purchase bill date is to be considered. Click OK button and you can see the relevant report on the screen. Refund statement e-return options are also provided. Basically, refund statement e-return option helps in generating JSON, plain Excel file or Excel file as per government template, which includes details of entries on which you can claim refund. The JSON file that you will create is then to be uploaded on GST portal for filing of refund statement. So this is all we have to discuss in this particular chapter. At the end of the chapter, we have provided certain exercise. You can view the exercise on screen and attempt it. Hope after going through this chapter, you would be able to easily use these returns in Busy. Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.